Today we're talking about why people get so blindsided while testing the INFJ. The first question is, why do people even test the INFJ? They test the INFJ because they need reassurance. People need that all together. It's not just an INFJ thing, as in that's how people react solely towards the INFJ. If you think about it, you test people all the time. That's actually how we realize what people are all about. You hold yourself back, you listen a little bit, you observe them, and because of that, you're sort of testing them. You understand what they're all about, you can create an image of who they are in your mind, and then you have more control over the situation. It's a completely normal human action. But it's different when it comes to the INFJ because you are not giving people information. So today we're talking about how that actually plays out. What kind of problems that could cause to the INFJ because people continuously try to find out something that we're just not able or willing to give them, and how we as INFJs can use the fact that other people get blindsided by it as our advantage to actually get what we want, to get people to understand what we're all about and to respect us the way we need to. Before we get started, I want to remind you the next INFJ Epic Life Bootcamp Life Round is just around the corner. We launch March 26th, and on that day, we're also going to have a free masterclass. So make sure you're on that waiting list. You get access to the early bird price, get information when the masterclass is happening. Be there, use that opportunity. All the information you find in links in the description. The INFJ is typically like an iceberg. You only see the top of it. And as long as we as INFJs don't accept that, as we don't understand that that's the way we function, people are not only going to test you all the time, but you're going to have a hard time with it. Because the thing is this, you so often try to give others the benefit of the doubt. You want to help them, you want to encourage them, you hold yourself back, yes, on the one hand to understand others, but when you do, you actually don't use shortcomings to your advantage. You see, okay, that person has some difficulties in this area, or they don't feel very strong in this other area, and I want to be their friend. I want to be the one who supports them. I want to be the cheerleader. I want to be the counselor. There's so many aspects that come with being an INFJ that just a part of our personality, our drive to help, our drive to help others get out of an uncomfortable situation. And very often that can be our biggest problem because people are so afraid that you're going to use something against them that they lash out. And this happens very often, in particular, when we have shown that other person at one occasion, and seriously, one occasion is more than enough, where you have shown them, oh, I understand where you doubt yourself. Oh, I understand where you feel like you have a blind spot. If people get that sense, they're going to start testing you. And believe it or not, the INFJ cannot hold up this facade all of the time. At some point, you're going to slip. At some point, you're going to show people, oh, I actually do feel superior in this one area. And I don't mean it in an arrogant way. I don't mean it in an, a superficial way or trying to put others down. But if you are able to see that another person has any kind of self-doubt in a certain area, they are going to interpret it as, you think you're better than I am in this, and that actually reflects their biggest fears. So of course, they're going to start testing you and they're going to lash out. What does the INFJ do in most cases? They don't react. They actually duck down because the last thing the INFJ wants to do is create this harmony. They're trying to make the other person understand that they had good intentions to begin with. They try to make them understand that it has been all just a misunderstanding. But the thing is this, people are not going to stop, because you have to understand it is so painful to have an ego loss that people will do absolutely everything to avoid that. And I really mean people altogether, because when we're talking about ego loss, it is really happening on a subconscious level. So you as an INFJ might also be in this situation or might have been in the situation. So don't feel like this is something to judge others for. But what's even more important is that you stop judging yourself. Because most of the time when we get in a situation like this and people start testing you, what happens? We start feeling guilty. We start telling ourselves, okay, it's totally natural that they react this way. I haven't really tried my best. And so all of these self-doubts come up when in the end, you haven't done anything wrong. This is who you are. You had the best intentions, and if you were holding yourself back, then it was because you had good thoughts behind your actions, because you wanted the other person not to feel bad. It didn't come from a place of manipulation or wanting to, beat the other one in any kind of capacity. But what do you do in this situation? What happens when the INFJ finally realizes, okay, people keep testing me. I cannot keep on trying to prove myself anymore. And trust me, you will get to this point. I've talked with so many INFJs throughout the years, all of my one-on-one clients, then the people I coach during boot camp, right, in our group sessions. This is something where at some point you really find the way out. And sometimes that means door slamming. It really means, okay, you cut off all communication. And on other times, you understand that this is going to lead to a door slam, so you actually take different kind of action before that. In both cases, people will always get blindsided. Why is that? Well, let's think about it. The INFJ is a very consistent personality type. So you might say, okay, the INFJ is all about having ideas and being really individualistic, being spontaneous. They're not the person who is going to work on something forever. But if you think about it, if you have a conviction as an INFJ, you're sticking to it. So often the INFJ is portrayed wrongly, in my opinion, because it is shown as if the INFJ was flaky. We are flaky when it comes to things that aren't important to us, when it comes to our convictions, when it comes to truths that we have finally understood, like the truth that no matter what you try, you're not going to convince another person that you had good intentions and that you tried your best. When you get to this place and you know, okay, I cannot make myself smaller, I cannot dim my light anymore, I have to actually go about my future and do the things that are going to make a difference in my life. These things are going to blindside the other person because the INFJ up until this point has not shown any of these signs. Remember, our go-to attitude is being reserved. Our go-to attitude is being an observer. So we stay back, we're this typical iceberg. People just see the top of it and they interpret us based on this. On top of that, they interpret us from their perspective. And the things that we're able to do really surprise others because so often we're not going to do them unless we have to. But in situations like this, guess what? You get to a position where you're going to use your internal strength, where you're going to use the fact that you are consistent in your truth. So once you've understood, okay, I cannot convince that person anymore, you're straight fast forward and you're saying, I'm doing my thing, and if other people have some kind of opinion about me, then that's it. Once this course is taken, the INFJ is pretty much set. So when this happens, people actually recognize, oh, you were really trying to help them. You were actually dimming your light in order to make them feel good. Because for the first time, they see that you're actually capable of staying consistent with what you think, who you are. You're not getting pulled left and right because of other people's opinions, and you pull through. And this is something that they wouldn't be able to do, because if they were, they wouldn't have gotten so upset with you. They wouldn't have gotten so defensive. So you always have to think about it. If a person is testing you and they're acting from a place of, being defensive, and they want to see where is that tipping point. In 95% of the cases, they're doing it because they feel you're going to react similarly to how they would react. So at some point, they would get the upper hand, which is really important from an ego point of view. But when you say, okay, I'm not caring about how long it takes. I don't care if people might be blindsided or confused about the steps I choose to take. I know that in the long run, people will either not even care about it and just move on. But if they do look, they will see that I have been sticking to my truth. In the end, this consistency, this resilience, and this conviction of yours is going to be the winning factor. If you have two people with different kind of worldviews and people stay connected to each other, it's always the one who wins, and I'm going to explain what I mean with win, who stays consistent with their conviction the longest. So either you have two people who know their internal truth and stick to that, and if these truths are different than each other, both people just move out of their way. But if one person is sticking to something and it's not their internal truth, it's something that they keep telling themselves in order to make themselves feel good. Like, for example, oh, that INFJ just tried to hurt me. They tried to pretend they're better than me. They tried to make me feel like I wasn't in control. And deep down, they actually believe that about themselves. Once they see that you're not trying to convince them anymore, that you go about your way, that you stay in your truth, then they will recognize that, yeah, I have to actually stay connected to the INFJ in some kind of capacity because I know that my truth is aligned to that. And that truth is, I wasn't honest with myself. I wasn't honest about my problems. The INFJ that I had a connection with or an interaction with actually recognized it. And so now I have to face the truth. A lot of people I have met throughout the years have really gotten very, very angry at me, at other INFJs for situations like this. And in the end, they were always blindsided and they always had a change of heart. If that didn't happen, it's because they weren't even able to tap into their deepest fears to begin with, and then they completely neglected the situation much earlier. But those aren't the people who test the INFJ. People who test the INFJ already want the truth to come out on a subconscious level. If you meet somebody who's not in any way ready to face an internal truth, an internal hardship or pain, they're not even interacting with the INFJ so much. They see the INFJ and they're not even getting into any kind of deep connection with that person. They know straight away, okay, that's not for me. I'm more into the kind of lifestyle I live now, and I'm not going to face any kind of internal issues here. I'm not going to get to such a place where I allow another person to help me or whatever it may be, and they just drift off right away. That's why when I really started my transformational journey, so many of the people I had in my life just vanished. They just vanished because the way I started living my life was just too authentic in order for them to be able to live in that environment and feel comfortable about the choices they were making. They just drifted away. I drifted away as well because I wasn't concerned with them anymore. And this is something that you will recognize the more you tap into your authentic self, into starting your INFJ epic life. You're either going to have people who are going to test you, get blindsided, recognize that this is your internal truth and that they have to face their internal truth as well, or they will just go their way and it won't even be an issue. But if you get to a point where you say, I'm not going to act in a way just to make the other person feel good. I'm going to act out of my truth. And if that makes another person uncomfortable, then that is it. Because I have the right to be myself as much as everybody else. And acting like this is one of the things that blindsides people the most. You have the capacity to do it, and you're not doing it in order to hurt people or to make them uncomfortable. You're doing it because you know that's the best thing for you. And when you get to this place, you're never giving that up again. Remember guys, bootcamp is launching March 26th. We have that free masterclass here on YouTube. It's a live stream. So be here, sign up for the waiting list so you get all the information and access to the early bird price. And if you want to watch another video now that is in alignment with today's topic, then watch the video How the INFJ Shocks Everyone.